everyone. It's Ada from Poison Rock, and today I have the pleasure to have with me Dennis from Ghostbath. First of all, how are you, Dennis? That always, as I said, the toughest question.
I just woke up like an hour ago
Okay,
and I went to bed at like 7 in the morning, so I didn't have that much sleep.
okay. So you're a night owl, I should guess. Welcome to the
Yeah.
family. Next time we're gonna do the interview at my 6 in the morning or 5 in the morning. It's better. Now we know. Now we know we can do it for your like 11 p.m., my 3, 4 a.m. Next time we know. We're okay. So in fact I'm starting to be awake now. I mean, because here it's 6 p.m. So I'm starting to be awake. No, so I hear you. I hear you. So of course, as the you went on tour, like you did some touring recently with Arakiri for the Sky, as I saw some live shows also. How did it go? Just to break the ice and start.
Yeah, the tour went really well. It was Swallow the Sun, Harakiri for the Sky, us, and Snakes of Russia. A lot of really packed shows. We all get along really well, so
That-
we had a good time. It's great.
yeah, and also you already performed some song of the new upcoming album on the live show.
Yeah, we did two songs from the new album. So we played Rose Thorn Necklace, which is the one we've already released, and
Yeah,
then we played another one that comes out soon. So yeah.
okay, so we don't want to say that too much for the people, of course. And of course, before I start talking a little bit about the sound and the differences in the sound since I don't know the first EP in 2013, I want to also ask about your musical journey, Dennis. How everything started from you, like even before blood, even before everything like that. Lost, but like who are you like? No, who are you like? Well, of course, who are you? But how you were, like taken by this music, what influenced you, and what made you decide to take the music path mainly.
Well, music in general, I've been playing like all of my life. I got a little piano keyboard when I was really young, and I just learned to play stuff by ear on that. So I've been playing instruments since I was a child, basically.
Okay.
I got guitar, my first guitar in like middle school, and I kind of just I was playing sports back then, and I quit all my sports and just focused on
For
music right
focus,
away.
right of course.
Um, and I grew up in like the Midwest in the U.S.
Okay.
So it was a lot of like hardcore and
Okay.
post-hardcore and Midwest emo type
Okay.
music. Um, so yeah, I was in a bunch of bands like that, and we didn't really get anywhere. Like we toured, DIY touring, and
Yeah, yeah.
tried to make it like that, and sent our music to labels and stuff, but we never really got anywhere. So we just kind of quit the band, and then I
Okay.
went to college, university, for psychology, and I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna keep writing stuff by myself. So
Yeah.
I made the first Ghost Bath EP.
Okay.
Um,
That in 2013, that one.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I was living in a house with like six other college guys,
Okay.
and the basement flooded, and I had to move out, and I had to move back to my parents' basement, and I was just living like in the open basement part,
Okay.
and I plugged in my computer to the TV, and I bought like $100 guitar, and I just like wrote the whole EP, and I was like, I don't
Okay.
know, I didn't really have anything else to do, so
So that's the story behind the first Got Bath EP. So if the people
yeah.
want to know, that's the story behind it. So it was really like always with a DIY influence and way of doing because I mean rawest than that. I don't know what people can do. I mean, and you started that by yourself, like you were just you. There was no one else involved at
Yeah.
the beginning.
I picked up a record randomly at the record store, Agalox, Marrow of
Ah,
the
I love
Spirit. And when I listened to that, I was like, oh, I want to like do something like this.
it.
So I mean, the first CP does not sound like Agalock at all, but that was just kind of like my inspiration to
Yeah,
start it. So yeah, I just did all the instruments. I programmed the drums, did the vocals all by myself.
yeah, and of course, so because of course, like now you're signed with Nuclear Blast, and it's like you said, you mentioned coming from a DIY scene until more like one and being under, let's say, mainstream, let's say, kind of main. It's always for me, it's always underground scene, but let's say more, not more like in the DIY, like play whatever it are, having venue, proper venue, having the difference. How does it feel for you? Because of course, when you grew up with a certain mindset in the DIY scene, and then you are completely like in touring bus. I mean, for you, so always like being the same, or some you think maybe I don't know, because not many band has this chance. Like in the DIY scene, there are so many beautiful bands, amazing musicians that deserve really like also to be seen and heard. Do you see some difference, or there's something that is missing, for example, from the DIY scene?
Um, I don't know. I think I've always been trying to get to this level
Yeah.
since I started. Like that was a goal. And when I recorded Moon Lover, I kind of knew that it was gonna take me there. I don't know. I just like had it in my mind. Like I only had $1,000, and I drove to Michigan. It was about like 12 to 14 hours from where I lived,
Oh my God.
and I
Wow.
recorded that album in like 3 days in the studio because that's all I had the money for. But as soon as I like finished the album, I'm like, okay, this is like I don't know. I just knew it was like something special. So
Yeah.
um, I don't know. It's weird. Like every time I think back to like touring DIY, uh,
It's a different world.
yeah, it's just a different world, and like I don't know.
You
I
are
don't know what
used
to
to this
say about it. Really.
world now. You are used to this world
Yeah,
now. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's
but
been like 10 years now, so
even also talking you from like about the first EPs and like also the Moon Lover. You did a lot. You put a lot of effort in producing your own music by yourself. It's so
yeah.
congratulations for that because I
Oh, thank
can
you.
because I can see in your like literally like in the basement and then with a lot of all the money you had driving. This is I mean, of course people do that for their passion, but this is more than passion. I mean, don't see this often, so that's why you deserve to be here in the basket. At least now your efforts are being paid off. That's important. And
Yeah,
especially,
yeah,
yeah. So of course, like we can say that Moon, because of course before Moon Lover, just to say to the people that maybe never heard about Ghostbusters, there has been Funeral, but we can say that was Moon Lover actually the first turning point of Ghostbusters.
yeah. I mean, Funeral is kind of a stepping stone, and
Okay,
it allowed me to get on Pest Productions from
okay,
China, and that kind of
yeah,
allowed us to be a little bit more known. But yeah, once I did Moonlover, the producer I worked with, Josh Schroeder, he
yeah,
like knew a lot of labels, so he was really like the guy who connected me with
yeah.
people. So after I recorded Moonlover, I was getting emails from like Century Media, Season of Mist,
Okay,
Nuclear Blast,
okay.
Roadrunner, just like so many labels. I was just like,
Like
it just
what
came out of
else?
nowhere, really.
Like
Yeah,
what's going on? Which one should
yeah,
it be?
yeah. They're all like calling me, and I was just talking on the phone with all these labels, and it was kind of surreal, I guess.
Yeah, but it's I mean this these beautiful things happen. I mean this shows that music industry is still working. So that's the important. And also it's important for like people, also a reminder for the people in the DIY scene, not young teenager, just to don't stop. Just to look a little bit higher, put your effort, because I mean, yeah, not every effort is being paid off. That's the harsh truth. But a little bit of positivity sometimes help and strong and strength. But sound wise, Moon Lover also has a big impact in your music. It changed also the sound.
Say that. Oh, Moonlover.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah. So the idea was just to, I really like depressive black metal, and I wanted it to be more
Okay.
polished, though, a little
Yeah.
bit more studio sound, because a lot of it is DIY recording, kind of like Funeral is, which I like that too a lot. But
Okay.
I don't know. I just wanted to give it more of like a studio, bigger sound
Yeah.
to it, and yeah, I think like my background in like post hardcore and emo and stuff kind of comes into that album as well.
Okay. And of course, like because there is after that there has been Star Mourner and Self Loader, and these two albums sound always sound wise at the moment. What is the biggest change we can see?
Um, well, I'd say, well, Star Mourner, or not Star Mourner, Self Loather. It was the first album we did as a full band.
Okay.
Um,
Oh, that
so
that was really
I have three other members that have been with me basically since we started touring in like
good.
2016, and yeah, we wrote that one all together. So you can probably hear some differences in like time signatures and just riff ideas and stuff like that, because I write a certain way. um, and then
Yeah.
yeah, so I don't know. And then the way we recorded that one too, we actually like went into the studio and we worked on some songs like together while we were in the studio, instead of just me on my computer writing everything, which is what I usually do.
And but did you still kept these still keep these working by yourself and maybe then bringing the ideas because of course it's what you created for mostly of the album released. So I think it's a big part of your music, of gospel, your own influence as well.
Yeah, yeah. I've always just I don't know, just get into like a certain mindset, and
Yeah.
when I'm feeling a certain way, I just take out my guitar, sit right where I'm sitting here, and then just
Right.
start like playing around on guitar, and that's kind of how everything starts. Yeah.
Yeah, and of course, I mean, since we mentioned like the other three musicians, I think it's important to introduce them because, like I said, they are member now as a left lineup. So who is aside from you in a gospel?
We got Tim on guitar and John on guitar, so we have three guitar players, and
Okay.
then Josh is on bass, and us four have been like
Okay.
the main core the entire time. We've switched a lot of different drummers, so
Okay.
yeah.
So there, let's
Still
say that.
still trying to find a permanent drummer. It's hard to find one.
I mean, yeah, okay, because of course, I mean, it's always like it has to fit with the sound, the idea that all of you has of the sound. Because of course, like in having a having musician in a self-loader, like you said, had also an impact in the sound. So now we are headed after 4 years. It was a COVID fault. 4 years for a new album. What happened? You were right. So is this gap is due to just maybe composing or something? What's the cause
Um,
here?
it's like, yeah, it's like a mix of COVID, because the album came out in 2021.
Yeah,
COVID was still kind of going on, and then we really wanted to tour on this album. So as soon as it opened up, we've just been basically touring all the time. So we didn't really have time to
to
write anything.
right now.
Um, and even this album, like I just wrote it by myself when I had time.
Okay.
Rose Thorn Necklace, the new one.
Yeah.
Just because it's been so long since we had music, I just had to like, I don't know, I
Yeah.
wanted to get some out. I'm sitting on like always on like multiple albums. Like I write all the time. And
Oh,
so I was like, okay, we should probably put
really?
this one out, and while we're working on the next one as like a full band, I guess.
So you're working already as another one.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think you're gonna have like a 10 album by 2030. We will have a 10 album by then. Almost.
Maybe we'll see. It takes a while for them to come out. So
Yeah, but so just to say to the people, already the single which takes the name of the album, Rose Thorn Necklace, has been released. And also the album is going to be released on the 9th of May, like you said. Is of course, we always say the pre-order are open. right?
Hmm.
They are open through Napalm Record, or is there also your website, Bandcamp, where the people can pre-order the album?
Yeah, Nuclear Blast, and in the US we have our own web store, and then
Okay.
in Europe there's Evil Greed. You can pick it up there too.
Okay, so there's a bunch of whole website that I will put it under the list to the pre-order. And I mean, right now, already the first single has been released. How is it going so far? Because I'm seeing that it's going really well, like at least for my perspective. But do you feel satisfied how it's going? Then the release and everything, at least of
Yeah,
the single by far.
yeah. So far, a lot of positive response. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm happy with that.
And also, I'm reading that because I think in a post of Instagram you put the track list down,
Hmm.
and I mean there are titles that are like confused, like some are poetic, some are almost to claim the emo influences. Uh, so what about the sound in this the last album? What is Melly about? It's always has that black gaze kindish vibes, or the hardcore.
Um, in general, I just wanted to do like my own version of a depressive
Okay.
suicidal black metal album. Um, all the tracks are pretty depressing if you read the lyrics.
Okay.
They're
Don't
either
worry,
about
we'll get that.
like um, obviously like suicide, but also just like I wanted to make it like poetic, but
Okay.
with like the contrast of like dark and like basically an insane person talking about just like sexual things. And because well I have a psychology degree, so like
Yeah, don't worry. I'm a therapist too, so we are talking the same language.
yeah, yeah. So there's like a thing called a Rorschach test
Yeah,
where it's like a
The
the
Rorschach
ink
test.
blot.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So my idea was kind of a failed Rorschach test where you kind of see sexual images in it. That's like
Okay.
a kind of a red flag. And so
Oh,
I don't know. And you'll see that in a lot of the lyrics and just how I describe stuff. I wanted it to be really graphic, and I
yeah,
don't know.
and
Yeah.
also with that, because of course you have a psychology degree. With that, writing the lyrics, which are so deep and so profound, did it kind of help you also to give, you have a different perspective? Because, people can write down their emotion, but give you also different point of view, like to analyze your own music. Because with as a psychologist, you also have a other way of analyze maybe lyrics and a context.
Yeah, I think I look at everything in a different
Yeah,
way. I'm always like analyzing
yeah.
people's behaviors and and why they're doing the things that they do. And I don't know. It definitely gave me a different perspective, like learning how the mind works and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
analyzing myself is kind of weird. Like I can do it, but you're like, I don't know. I probably can't do it objectively. So yeah.
But if you would like, if you would like to analyze your own album by not another perspective, how? Because I know it's not easy because you write it, you compose it, so it's your music. I should analyze it perhaps. But
Yeah, I don't know. Like I can't really look at it from outside. I've listened to it like probably 1,000 times, just like doing different parts or
yeah,
mixing it or whatever I'm doing. So yeah, it's really I can't really like separate myself from it to analyze it. I don't know.
yeah, and also like the mention of the depressive black suicidal metal. It's been a while that I wasn't hearing this genre because it's been a constant was a for I think a couple of decade for a decade was going really big here in Europe with this Italian band, Forgotten Tom. We have Italian band who invented the genre. Wow, something good. And then there was Shining. The genre was going everywhere, and then silence at all because of the extremeness and of course heaviness of the topic. And but it was beautiful because it's not only about, dying. It was only also, I think, if you look at it at a different perspective of the poetic. So maybe separating the not the real fact, that just the practical, no, just like a poetry. So, and you also going also to the poetry side of it, in the lyric wise, what is that give you inspiration and influence while you're writing?
Um, most of the time I write my lyrics just when I'm really depressed, I guess.
Okay.
Um, I'll just either like take out my phone and write it in my notes,
Okay.
or if I'm on the computer, I'll just write on my program.
Yeah.
Um, and I kind of just get like a single idea of like what I'm writing about, and then just kind of I don't know, go off of that from from one idea.
There's been some I don't know, sources like, I don't know, movie, books, something that music that inspired you or influenced you somehow in your own writing or even composing music, because it's all package, I think.
Um, yeah, I mean, I get some inspiration. Most of it's just like from within, but as far as like outside, I would say like Sylvia Plath, the poet, or Anne Sexton. I like her stuff. Um, I like visual art, kind of like
That's cool.
Mark Rothko is inspiration for me. Um, basically any artists who've like killed themselves, I really like Nirvana, or like
Yeah.
I don't know, Alice in Chains. I like um,
Um, I
yeah.
said that, like as you mentioned, Nirvana, it left a big impact in the whole entire world. And I mean, and I grew up with them too. I mean, I read everything. It was really his mind. I think it was one of the most interesting, and you as a psychologist can understand. His mind was a, I don't know, a labyrinth. Is
Mhm.
full of creativity. I can imagine. Can you imagine Kurt Cobain doing a Rorschach test?
Yeah.
You would have written a book about it. Jeez. But they were Nirvana. They were, no, they are, because they did recently some performance with don't know what the fuck they did. I have no idea. But Nirvana are
I
no,
don't know.
yeah, I don't like it. But of course, like from the new upcoming album, that of course we don't want to say too much because there's still a month to wait, almost a month and some days, and a month and a week or so, kind of. There is some song that maybe you feel that people should listen, like, because I don't like to say listen more than the other or the song that you play, but say that maybe that you would like to suggest to them to listen, like, okay, listen this because I don't know.
Um, yeah, I mean, I think the most traditional DSBM style song is the last song on the album. It's called Throat Cancer.
Okay.
I think that one's really good if you don't mind like a slower pace song, like
Uh,
a mid tempo. It's not really like super heavy or anything like that, but it's like probably pretty emotional. Like the vocals are the most emotional on that one. Um, and then other than that, I think Dandelion Tea. That one's a bit more interesting. Like the riffs on it remind me a little bit more of like maybe Shining or something like that.
yeah, I mean, of course, I'm curious to listen now Dandelion Tea because I like Shining a lot, and I like also I'm being also a therapist and herbalist. Everything connected with nature, I'm always interested, even in poisoning nature, because I study them. So I'm curious now, and of course, all this idea. Of course, it's you must have a lot of creativity in the music, and that's important. That's what we need in music, and also what open. And also there is another thing that I wanted to bring up in the spotlight, that is gonna be an re-release, am I right, of Funeral.
Yep, we just
Okay.
posted that today. So I back in 2018, I did a pressing myself of that album on vinyl, and there's only like 500, so people have been wanting that. So Nuclear Blast pressed it worldwide now.
and and I like the cover because it's one of my favorite painting. It's my
Oh,
favorite painting, the Ophelia.
hmm.
So for and why? I mean, of course, she's resting forever, so it's obvious choice. But why you pick up, especially this? Because it's for people that must don't know who is Ophelia. She's in the Hamlet of Shakespeare. But why? I mean, what brings you to choose like this cover art? Because it's an amazing, really amazing and deep, one of the deepest I think painting I ever witnessed to see in real life. It's beautiful.
Um, I mean, this was the first full length album I did. This is
Okay.
a long time ago, 2012. So it's hard
Okay.
to exactly remember like
Okay.
all of the thought that went into it, but
Yeah.
I think the general idea was a ghost bath is when you like drown yourself. So
Mhm.
I it was kind of like presenting what the band was on the cover for the first album.
But that's beautiful. I mean, that's exactly what she is, someone that's trying herself and but with grace and melancholy. So with a kind
Yeah.
of an elegance. That's beautiful. And so people, if they want to also pre-order that, it's in vinyl, I guess. Yeah. It's always released on the 9th of May. So
Mhm.
everything goes the 9th of May. People can do one big order and put everything in the cart. Always look
Exactly.
always to the physical copy because it's important. And talking about live shows, because I know that you come back from a tour recently. Did you have an other live shows for Rose Thorn Necklace, for maybe the promoting the album or festival? Of course, what can you say? We don't want to say too much, but what are you allowed to say, of course.
Yeah, I mean, we're playing shows all over this year.
Okay.
Our next shows are Mexico City. We have a festival. That'll be cool. Honduras and
Oh, that's cool.
Costa Rica. So we just have those in May. And then we do come back to Europe. We play a bunch of
Okay.
festivals like Tolminator,
Fulminator,
uh,
yeah. I know the festival. Yeah, it's I think it's in Austria. I don't know. It's
Slovenia.
Slovenia. Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yeah, we play like five or six. I can't remember them all. Like Rockstad in
Okay, Rockstar. Yeah,
Romania. Yeah.
are cool places.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
You're going from the deepest south in South America, and then in the eastern of Europe, which is basically almost cold kind. It's a
Mhm.
spring kind. So yeah, I mean, but it's a big I mean you're tour all the time,
Mhm.
so so we can say, so of course it can spontaneous to me ask how is a live, what people can expect from a live of Ghost Bath if they never got the chance to see you live.
Everyone tells us we're heavier live than on record, so
Okay.
that's one thing. I think the three guitars allow us to be pretty loud, and we all kind of, I don't know, rock out on stage a little more.
Okay.
Uh, a lot of metal musicians, will kind of stand in one spot and play, which is fine, but
Yeah.
we kind of like, I don't know, like get into it a little more. So
Yeah, well
it's a
that's,
fun show. I don't know.
and also there's some visual that you bring in the live shows, or it's just playing also with a DIY soul left that.
Visuals. I mean, we like program our own lights and
Okay.
usually have like fog and whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that. And before we end, because of course I always want to, because even if it's in the past album, it's always important to really suggest and say advice, at least to the new fan, something from the past. So if we would like to say to your fan or the newer seeing this interview, or I don't know, even me, there are maybe I don't know the old songs. Which one, in your opinion, would be, could be even more than one, the best to start to listen, to get to know your music and the soul mainly of your music?
Hmm. Um, say there's two that stick out. One is Burial. which is
Okay.
on the album Funeral. I think that's our most popular song still.
Okay.
Um, that was the first song I wrote on Funeral, and I don't know, it kind of like set the tone for the whole band. And then the second one would be Golden Number, which is on Moon Lover, and that one probably our second most popular. I don't know. That one's like a little bit more like pretty sounding and just has like more melody in it.
And then is there is for you one or couple of songs that for you especially, but when you listen to them, like you're, I don't know, mainly proud because I don't know, you did something more, like you put more your, no, you put more yourself, but you work more on the song, or you feel it closer to you by your point of view. So it's by Danny's perspective.
Um, so if we don't include the new album because they're not out yet, I would say probably Unbearable. It's
Okay.
on the Self Loather album. That's like a more personal song. And even though we wrote Self Loather all together as a band, that one I basically wrote all by myself too.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'd say listen to that one. That was
Yeah.
my most
Of course,
personal one.
thank you for answering. Of course, I mean, I would like to talk deeper about every track, but we can't at the moment. So it means that after the release of the album around May or June, we're gonna make an updating interview because I would like to talk more about the lyrics and the songs because I like to, like I told you, I have this analytic eye too in the lyrics, and I'm a writer also, so I like to read and talk about it. Of course, we because it's important to know the sound, and also, you know, you're gonna already play it live, so we're gonna see how the people react to the new album. And thank you for bringing back also the sound of the Press Suicidal Black Metal, because it's always important to remember there are genre that exist somehow and they have got forgotten.
Mhm.
So I thank you because someone remembers about it sometimes. I think Forgotten Tomb will be happy. So and
Oh
Shining.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, I miss it. I hope it will be amazing having you like Shining or Forgotten Tomb at the same lineup in Rome, for example. That's where they come from, Forgotten Tomb. So that would be really cool. But
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
it will probably happen. I mean, it's it's Italy. Did you have something planned in Italy, like for Europe, that you know?
Um,
Because Italy,
actually, I just
yeah.
looked at
Mhm.
our like schedule, and it said pending like three
Okay.
shows possibly in Italy in August. So I
Okay.
they're not
Okay.
confirmed yet, but
There is
they'll
gonna
be
be the chance.
announced. Yeah.
Okay, so for the people, we have time to do any interview to catch up during to updating during this summer. So what can I say then? Thank you so much, and I wish you good morning. For me, good night. Almost good dinner. I'm hungry, and I thank you so much, and good luck for the release of the album. I
Thank you.
think people
Thanks for having me.
pre-order. It's important the pre-ordering always.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a good the rest of
Thank
the
you.
day. Bye,
You too.
Demetrius.